Well, it's time to take the Fat Boy back, and I'm just wiping it down because, I want to take it back looking at least as good, if not better, than it did when I got it, because that's the least I can do. I can't exactly take the mileage off of it that I put on it, but I held that down to a minimum too. I treated it like it wasn't my bike. And I don't mean like it wasn't my bike so I could just trash on it. I took good care of this bike while I had it because I just appreciate the demo. And chances are good they're going to wash this thing once they get it back. That's their responsibility, not mine. Mine is just to do the best job I can right now, and we'll make it all pretty. I didn't get it with a full tank of gas, but I'll certainly return it with a full tank of gas. I try to close out the videos with this idea of doing something nice for somebody this week, just to make the world a little bit better place. I try and practice what I preach. As it turns out, there's a hog meeting this morning, which I don't always go to, but sometimes, just to check in, see what's going on with the group. I can't actually say I'm an avid hog member. I drop in when it's convenient. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that several years ago, I was very serious about hog, very serious about growing the chapter to be huge, and a bunch of stuff like that. And I was very emotionally invested in it and did what I could. At one point I was the webmaster, I was the photographer, and I was really trying to get people engaged. And I came to find out that a lot of the people just didn't really want to be engaged. And I ended up feeling a little bit burned by it, or a little bit burned out by it, however you want to put it. But I kind of backed off for quite a while. Part of me, a very small part, still wants to be very involved and grow the chapter and be engaged in it. And really that's what they need, is more people who really just want to grow it and get out and ride. That's the important thing. Get out and ride. But I find that in general, I'm disappointed with people, so I don't quickly put myself in that position. Bet you didn't know this is going to end up being a counseling thing, huh? But every now and then I like to check in and see what's going on. And it just so happens that my bikes are ready, so the timing was just right. So the Fat Boy's a pretty good bike. I mean, I like it. I wouldn't want to own one. I guess if somebody gave me one, I'd figure out how to make it mine, and then I'd like it even more. I love the 114 engine. I'm kind of a convert when it comes to that. So in a very small way, I'll miss this bike. I got the Sportster back with a whole drive belt. One problem it still had was that I had broken a bolt that used to hold the exhaust to the front head. They called me and asked if I wanted it fixed, but with all the money I was dropping, I decided to hold off. Unfortunately, it was worse now. No fault of the dealership really. They torqued the remaining bolt down to spec. With the other bolt missing, I guess it worked its way off and the exhaust was basically unbolted. Now it even sounded like a loud moped. So that bike is still somewhat out of commission, but at least the belt is good. I went back to pick up my baby. Unfortunately, while they were washing it, the left control cluster was messed up. They said the turn signal, high beams, and horn weren't working. I guess the horn was actually on all the time, so they had to disconnect it. But they told me I could pick it up while they waited for the replacement part to come in. And I was all too eager to get back on my wide glide. To my joy, I found out that the turn signal does indeed seem to work, the high beams do indeed seem to work. They probably just needed to dry out. And as long as I don't need a horn, I should be fine. But how often did I use my horn anyways? I usually prefer to yell at the cars around me. Since I have a break-in period to the new engine, I didn't take the bike on the highway. I wanted to keep the revs down pretty low. Looking at what I was supposed to do during the break-in period, I realized that that's kind of the way I drive anyways. I guess I'm not real hard on an engine. So I was off for a stop at Arby's because I had a serious roast beef Jones going on. After that, I took all the back roads I could on the way home. It seemed like all the roads were better today, and as I rode, it occurred to me that I have an unnatural affection towards this machine. I actually did miss this bike, and the thought of losing it disturbs me. I'm not sure anybody's supposed to be that attached to a machine. Maybe that's part of what makes us bikers. But in case I haven't mentioned it, it's good to have her back.